What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit more personal, but I feel like there's so much that I just want to update you guys on. There's been a lot going on behind the scenes, and I also want to give you an update on what you can expect from Courtside Club. Obviously, we are in WNBA offseason, and we have primarily been covering the WNBA, so I do have some new ideas for offseason content, so I want to fill you guys in on all of that, and also just chat with you about some things that have been on my mind. So I feel like today's episode is going to be a little bit longer. It's going to be one of those episodes that you kind of listen to while you're washing the dishes or folding laundry or maybe on your drive to work. But hopefully you guys enjoy it. So let's jump right in. And firstly, I want to tell you guys where I was at this past weekend. So I was in LA. I actually lived in LA for nearly 10 years. And I loved LA until I didn't. And then I could no longer stand it. And I just had to get out of there. But I think as you age, your priorities shift. And I think that is actually what happened to me. So came out to Texas, bought a house in Texas. I love it here. I kind of love a more chill, higher quality way of life. And luckily I'm still able to work in Texas. But anyway, back in the city where I used to reside for my entire 20s, back in LA specifically to film a documentary series. And I don't know how much I could actually say about this, but I will give you guys some context clues. It's essentially a docu-series episode that focuses on the WNBA and specifically a very popular player in the WNBA. So I was asked to be one of the talking heads in this documentary, and we actually sat down and filmed for like 3 hours. And basically they were just asking me a ton of questions, obviously about my experience covering the WNBA, kind of what I've noticed with this particular player and also with other players. And also, this documentary series does plan to use some of my clips from Courtside Club. And so in a lot of ways, I felt so honored to be a part of a project like this because it just felt like my work has been seen. There's such a divide in WNBA media, and it's so strange. And again, like, I'm kind of new to this side of the sports world, but I never realized it would be like this. And I was really happy that they were not only asking to use my content for the docuseries, but also just asking for me to be one of the voices in it, like calling me an expert in this subject, where I feel like I've put in so much hard work in covering the W and covering women's sports over the past like 2 years or so. But I do have to say I was pretty paranoid leaving the interview and even during the interview. And I think it's because like my words have been taken out of context so much by WNBA fans and even in other documentaries. Like if you guys remember in the Diana Taurasi documentary that aired on Amazon Prime Video, they used clips from Courtside Club and they used them completely out of context. And again, I realize like it's not that big of a deal, but it truly bothered me because I was one of the people during the time that there was this firestorm that was happening around Diana Taurasi. Like I was one of the ones standing up for her. And so in that Diana Taurasi documentary, they used a clip from where I said, a new rivalry is brewing. It's Caitlin Clark and Diana Taurasi. The reason I said that is because that's how the Phoenix Mercury were marketing that game. They were marketing the game, the rookie versus the GOAT. They were literally, Diana Taurasi's team was marketing the game as a rivalry game, and that's how I was covering it. Yet Amazon Prime Video turns around, they use that clip, and they use it in a montage of all of these people calling Diana Taurasi nasty, calling her washed, like calling her the craziest names that I never did. And then on top of that, like I've worked with Diana Taurasi before. Like I've spent hours talking to Diana Taurasi. She's somebody that I'm actually a fan of. And it's like, I'm sure Diana Taurasi obviously isn't on the cutting room floor and she's not the one, oh, let's pick this, let's pick this, let's pick this. It offended me in a way because I'm like, she's probably watching this thinking like, oh yeah, Rachel was one of the ones trashing me also. And also in that same time when I was like standing up for Diana Taurasi, I had a lot of Caitlin Clark fans and a lot of you guys, like you guys know I'm a huge Caitlin Clark fan. A lot of you guys are as well. Like I was getting pushback from you guys saying, how could you say this? Diana Taurasi sucks, it's not. And I was like, no, you guys, I'm like a big fan of hers and I know her personally. This is kind of just her personality. So I think I'm a little paranoid of my words being used out of context. And when I was doing this interview, there were definitely many of times that I'm like doing mental gymnastics as I'm answering these questions because I'm scared that they're going to cut it up. And I don't think they're going to, because even the lady who was interviewing me seems super lovely, but you just never know when you don't have the editing control. And so I truly hope that my words are not taken out of context in this documentary. I hope that they are given in their full context and it's truthful to the takes that I was making and the things that I was saying about the different things that we are talking about. But yeah, just to button up that point, it was really cool to be able to do this interview. I will be excited to see my work in the documentary. And I'm glad that Courtside Club is getting some respect off of, all the hard work that myself and our team behind the scenes has put in and really growing the show, growing this channel. Up until recently, I have lost money on Courtside Club for like the entirety of its existence. When I started at ESPN for Courtside Club season 1, and I don't know, do you guys even know the backstory of Courtside Club? Maybe you don't. Okay, I'll give you the really quick backstory. Okay, so Courtside Club was an idea that I had in 2020, and that was COVID time, right? But I honestly just was not in the mental space to execute it. I was too scared to take any risks in 2020, as were a lot of people. And then a couple years later, I was finally like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it. I had meetings with different networks and things, and it just wasn't, I don't know, it wasn't panning out. And I was like, I'm just gonna do it myself. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna interview some people. I'm going to use the resources that I have of the videographers and editors that I know. And like, we will just create Courtside Club and then see what happens. Like, I'll put it on my own YouTube channel, all of those things. And so I started filming episodes. And in the midst of me filming episodes, I had a meeting with Omaha Productions and ESPN. And I told them the concept, and essentially they picked up my show. They were like, yeah, we would love to have your show as a part of our podcast network. And I was like, okay, this is great. This is an amazing opportunity. So season 1 of Courtside Club was with ESPN, and I was on salary for that, but I didn't own any of the content. All of the content lived on ESPN. So if you want to watch old episodes of Courtside Club, like I think they're still on ESPN, but they're kind of hard to find because of the way that they do the titles and thumbnails and SEO, all of the things. And long story short, and I've talked about this, creatively with ESPN, it just wasn't working out. And a lot of the money that I made with my salary at ESPN, they were not willing to pay for interviews that were in person with my guests. So if I wanted to do any interviews in person, I would have to pay for the production for that. And I wanted the show to look good. And so I would use my salary that I was making to then pay for production so that I could interview my guests in person, because there were some big guests I have. And I was like, I want to sit down with these people in person. I feel like it's better that way. That's always how I wanted to do the show. And so even then I was always like making money to invest in the show. And then once my run ended with ESPN and mutually we agreed to like not stay together, I took Courtside Club on my own and put it again, back on my own YouTube channel, like I was going to do in the beginning. And we were honestly, like when we first started, I was happy to get 1,000 views. Like the views were so low. It took a lot of trial and error to get Courtside, obviously, to where it is now. And I'm so beyond grateful for all of you guys. Without you, I don't even know if we would still be doing the show, right? Like you guys have been so amazing, and I will always be grateful. A view is a view. One of you guys tuning in means a lot to me. But with that, what I'm saying is I have other people who also help me to bring this show to life. And all of that is me pouring money into the show. And so up until recently, I have been in the hole with Courtside Club, yet I have been spending like 95% of my time working on this show because it's how much I believe in the show, how much I love working on this show. And it's like, it hasn't been a moneymaker for me at all. And so now we're starting to get like sponsors who want to work with us on certain episodes and possibly for the whole things. We've been talking to different networks and such. And so even getting back to the original point, even the fact of me being asked to be a part of a documentary, I think just meant so much because it feels like we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere with Courtside to where it's a sustainable business for me. It's something where I can put in so much of my time and I can say no to some of these other jobs if I finally do, start earning a living off of it. Like half the time when I need to do these other things or I need to do brand partnerships or that's because I'm not making money off of Courtside Club until recently. Again, I don't know if you guys care about that, but I wanted to give you a little bit of context as to why like sometimes some like of the littlest things just mean so much. Getting back to, once again, my words being taken out of context and also people using my content without specifically asking me, I find this really bizarre because I've had places like Bleacher Report, like House of Highlights, different places ask if they can use my content, and they specifically asked for it, and they asked for it in written whatever. Diana Taurasi doc did not ask for it. And then also the Las Vegas Aces, they made this video that was like Aces versus everyone or whatever when they won the championship. And they also, again, like used a clip from my show, which I think is funny because there's this weird, like, firstly, they used a clip of me saying that they're middle of the pack at best. Like, by the way, the Aces were middle of the pack at best for most of the year, okay? Like, true statement, very true statement. I think it's ironic because I've definitely said stuff that's harsher on the Aces than that, but that was the clip that they decided to use. And again, I'm glad that people are tuning in and they see my content as something, but taking things out of context, using my content without my permission is just, it's happened over and over. So with all of that, I don't want to drag this out any longer on this particular topic, but I will let you guys know when that docuseries comes out. I hope that my words are taken in context and with their full truth. And it'll also be interesting to see like the way the documentary goes because you never know. Like I'm not on the back end, so we'll just have to see, but I will keep you guys posted on when that does come out. And also while I was in LA, I went to the USC versus Michigan football game. If you guys didn't know, I'm originally from Ohio, and both of the colleges that I went to school at did not have football teams. So I went to Old Dominion for basketball, and at the time they didn't have a football team. And then the year that they were starting to have a football team, they weren't even like fully Division I. I think now they are. But also I hated my time at Old Dominion. That's a story for a different day. So not really rooting for them in anything. And then when I transferred to American University, they also don't have a football team. So when I was in college, I never had like a football experience. But being from Ohio, I've always been an Ohio State football fan, an Ohio State everything fan, because when you're born in Ohio, that's just what you are. Anyway, USC was playing Michigan that day. So if you're also born in Ohio, if you're an Ohio sports fan, you hate Michigan regardless, okay? I thought it'd be fun to go to USC, especially since they are playing Michigan. Now, what was really cool is I did meet some people who work at USC and also work with the women's basketball team. I met Juju Watkins and talked to her for a bit. Obviously, would love to have Juju Watkins on the show, and made her team know that she is always welcome whenever she wants to come on the show. She is recovering from her ACL injury, so she won't be playing for the 2025-26 season. Not sure if she'll be doing media during that time, but just so you guys know, I definitely have that ask out and I'm working on that. That leads me into, you guys, during this off season, we are going to have more guests on the show. And I know that I do guest interviews here and there, but one of my goals with Courtside Club is also to open you guys up to different people. And I'm also fully aware that not all of the guest interviews that I have do the greatest numbers. Like my solo episodes normally do much bigger numbers than the interviews with guests, but I still think that they're very important. And everybody who I do have on the show, like there's a reason that I have them on the show. If you look at all of like the college women's athletes that we had last year during our Courtside Madness series, and we also had Coach Kara Lawson on, who, by the way, Coach Kara Lawson is going to be the coach of Team USA coming up, which I think is so cool. But we have definitely opened the door to doing more guest interviews. We have started to do more guest outreach. And also there might be some guests that we have on Courtside Club that aren't just in the women's basketball space either. I know a lot of you guys who are here now came to know of me or of my channel just because of women's basketball, which I think is incredible and amazing. And obviously that's going to be the anchor of this channel. But my background is honestly in covering the NBA. And so I do want to do a little bit more crossover there, or if we have other media personalities where they're able to talk about women's basketball and also men's basketball and also the NBA. I want to do some live watch parties for the NBA along with women's college basketball during this off season. And I say this all the time. I truly say this all the time. And I do mean it, as much as it probably seems like I don't mean it. I don't want to just constantly be covering the drama that's in the WNBA. The WNBA is clearly a soap opera, and every day I could pick up some drama that I wanted to cover. I don't want to cover Caitlin Clark's every single move, like, oh, Caitlin Clark went to the grocery store today, or this person. Like, I'm not really interested in those types of topics. I want to add more value with the content that I'm giving you guys. And so I guess I'm also just explaining to you, like, I'm constantly thinking about how we can make the show better and how I can add value to what you guys are coming to this channel for. And so I don't just want to take the lowest hanging fruit in some of these storylines or social media things that are happening. I'm going to challenge myself in not putting out content like that. And I'm not saying there's not a place for that. And there's going to be other places, other media outlets, all these things who are covering that. But like, let's find the best stories during this WNBA off season. Like, let's not just cover, you guys know what I'm trying to say, right? So I think by adding new voices, introducing you guys to like new players, new media personalities, like even Dave Portnoy was a huge risk even to have on our show, simply because I know what his reputation is or how some WNBA fans feel about him. I saw what happened when Dave was trying to have the Stud Buds on a Barstool show or collaborate, and I saw how the WNBA fans like lost their minds over it. So I knew that there's a portion of WNBA fans who might have gotten truly like mad, upset with me, boycotted, whatever the things. Like there's people constantly saying stuff about me all the time. And I'm hardened to it in a certain extent because I've been in this industry for a really long time. I've seen it all. That's not going to stop me from showing you guys a different side to somebody or showing you guys an alternate voice that's in the space. And Dave being somebody who was such an advocate for the WNBA, but if you can't get past a couple things that he's said or opinions that he has to get to the point where he's actually advocating for these women to get paid more and for people to watch them, for everything that these WNBA players want. I think that's another thing too, like we can get to the WNBA toxic fandom, because it's like nothing I have ever experienced in all of my years in covering sports. And if you guys don't also know, like I was in a video game. I was in an NBA video game, and video game fandom is really toxic. Like communities in the video game sphere. Yeah, not spear, sphere. In the video game sphere can be super toxic. And I have heard it all. Like I've been criticized for the way that I talk. I've been criticized for the way that I look. I've had lies spread about me. I've had literal media outlets print lies about me, like lies, rumors. I've had people lie about me in person. Like people say things that specifically aren't true. People make up entire scenarios that have never happened. Like I've been harassed. I've been stalked. I've seen and heard it all before I even got to covering the WNBA. Okay. So I've heard all of this before I even got here. That's why even when some of the players and stuff are complaining about like harassment or social media and all of this, I don't have as much sympathy, or I don't have as much like whatever, because it happens to anyone who gets to a certain level of fandom or is in the public eye. I've had people Photoshop images of me. This is like before the whole AI thing. I have had people Photoshop images of me, like explicit images of me that were not me. Like if you think about what could have been said to me, it's been said to me. I will leave it at that. I've had like coordinated attacks against me. I've had to have private investigators involved. Like I've heard all of this, and I say all of that to say the WNBA fandom took it to the next level as far as like toxicity that I never would have expected when coming into a league that is all women. And a lot of the fandom is women, but the kind of videos that people make about me, this and that, again, it doesn't hurt my feelings so much as it just kind of shocks me as this is what you're walking into. And I feel like there's definitely this huge divide in WNBA fandom. It's like, if you're a Caitlin Clark fan, immediately there's a certain section of the fandom who says, oh, she's a Caitlin Clark fan, she can't be a fan of anyone else. Because she's a Caitlin Clark fan, she hates Asia, and she hates Angel, and she hates Paige, and she hates, like, the list goes on. And that's so far from the truth. And so even seeing the Aces like use my clip, it's like, I actually don't hate the Aces. I prop Asia up a lot. And I know that there's a lot of Caitlin Clark fans who aren't so much of a fan of Asia. I've been somebody who said she's a really freaking good player. Like, she is the best player in the world at this very time. I was the one who said she should get MVP before a lot of people said she should get MVP. I said she was performing better than Nafisa Collier, but the narratives that you see and the toxicity that you see, and I'm trying to break that. I'm trying to break that a little bit, and I know that I'm like a one-man band who's doing that, but by having people with different voices, different opinions on my show, that's a big way of combating some of this just like craziness that's in the W fandom. And the only way for the WNBA to like continue to grow and continue to succeed, like some of these walls have to be broken down. Some of this toxicity, and it's not just social media, by the way, also like it trickles up into the media sphere of it also, because we've seen certain media members' biases. So I hope that with my content, I can continue to just cover the sport like I would cover any other sport. But unfortunately, you guys, I think a lot of like the toxicity in women's basketball, like I experienced a lot of that in college. Like a lot of the reason that I quit playing basketball in college, again, story for another day, came because it was so toxic. Like there is something in this world where women are always like, oh, support women, until a woman doesn't agree with you, and then you do everything in your power to tear her down. Like, it's really not a women supporting women thing. And I do actually think that the younger generation does a way better job with all of this stuff. I think they actually do care about the basketball and they just want to go out there and win. But there were so many times when I was playing basketball, like the sabotage that certain players or teammates would do, they would sabotage the outcome of the game just to spite another player, or the kind of bullying. And I say bullying as like, I wasn't necessarily like beat up in a sense. I wasn't like beat up in high school and in college, but the little bullying tactics and things that players would use towards me, like it gets to a point where you're like, I don't love this game enough to keep playing. I don't love this game enough for my teammates to be hiding my shoes before every game, and so I can't even focus on the game ahead. Like I don't love this game enough to walk into my dorm room and all of my things have been shuffled around and they've stolen things out of my room. Like there's my own teammates doing this. You know, like I don't love this game enough to like, again, walk into my dorm room and put my hand on the handle and there's like stuff all over. I didn't even know what it was, like just disgusting, whatever. You put your hand and your hand's really sticky. You know, that stuff still goes on. And I guess I'm like, you feel some of that. Like I wasn't covering the women's game for as long as I was. Like I actually was supporting the W and going to some Sparks games and different things. But when I go back and start to cover the league again, and then it's the same sort of, like, you feel that same sort of toxicity from fans and different things, like, it's not a good feeling. Am I making sense? Like, it's bringing up stuff that happened to me, like, when I was actually playing basketball, and I don't know why things have to be like that. Lastly, you guys, quickly, this is not sports related at all. I went to Hollywood Horror Nights when I was also in LA, which is basically like Halloween time at Universal Studios. I've been to Universal Studios a million times, been to Disneyland a million times. Like I said, I lived in California for many years. And I've been to Hollywood Horror Nights multiple times, but I've only ever been there in a big group, but I'm normally there with my husband and like his friends. And so, you know how when you go to amusement parks when it's Halloween time, there's all these monsters kind of running around and jumping out and scaring you just when you're walking around. It's like not even a haunted house, it's just when you're walking around. So I asked my girlfriend in Los Angeles, like, I was like, do you want to go? Because she had never been to Universal and she was so excited about it. And so I thought that I could get one of these necklaces. So there's these necklaces that I've seen all over TikTok, and they're like the Deathly Afraid necklace is basically what they're called. It's like, it's so embarrassing kind of, but it's like a light up necklace and it says Deathly Afraid. And if you're wearing one of these necklaces, then the monsters won't scare you. It basically just means like, don't touch me. You also see it when it's like younger kids are there or whatever. And I had seen those and I was like, that's perfect. Even if I'm just going with my girlfriend, I'll just get one of those and then nobody will touch me and I'll be fine, because I don't like jump scares and I'm really claustrophobic also. So I don't really do haunted houses. Anyway, come to doing my research, I find this other TikTok video of this guy who bought the necklace in Orlando and then went to Universal Studios in Los Angeles, and he was wearing the necklace and it didn't work because Los Angeles does not honor those necklaces. So if you go to Universal Studios, you can't get a Deathly Afraid necklace. So now I'm telling you guys, for the 48 hours leading up to going to Hollywood Horror Nights, I was second guessing. I was like, I might not be able to do it. I'm so scared. I don't want people running up to me. The people who have like the chainsaws and stuff, I was like, I can't do it. I'm going to have a panic attack. Anyway, I went. And when we first got there, I was literally like hiding in a gift shop. I was like, I can't even make it, because the first scare zone that you go through where there's these monsters running around, it's all clowns with chainsaws. And I was like, I can't do it. It's just me and my one girlfriend. They're going to target us. Like, I'm not in a big group. I can't just hide in the middle. Long story short, you guys, I overcame my fear. And by the end of it, I was like asking to go through more of the scare zones. I was making friends with these monsters. I was like taking selfies with them. And I know it's so irrational. It's truly so irrational. Like, I know that the monsters aren't going to do anything to me, but if you don't like jump scares and you don't like being startled, it's such an anxiety thing. And I just want to tell you guys this because I'm kind of proud of it. I even went through one of the haunted houses that's like an outdoor haunted house. So it didn't have any of the moments where it was like claustrophobic. Do you know what I mean? There wasn't walls and stuff. It was open air, but there were monsters running around the whole time. So there was monsters like coming up to you, kind of getting in your face. And I was fine. Like, I did really good. As long as I kept my eyes and ears peeled and I could like see where they were maybe going to jump out at me, I overcame my Hollywood Horror Nights fear. And just wanted to tell you that was a really proud moment for me. But you guys let me know if you like haunted houses, because I was looking up all of these things on TikTok about haunted houses. I saw that there's like these like crazy haunted houses. Like, there's one called like the 17th Door. There's another one. There's one that seems really gross and disgusting and should probably be illegal, where you literally go there and it's like torture and you're there for hours. It's like how long you can withstand staying in this haunted house. And there's a wait list of 24,000 people who want to go to this house. No. I feel like all of the people who are going to that haunted house should probably be on the FBI watch list, because why do you want to be tortured? It's literal torture. They will like shave your head. They'll waterboard you, like the crazy, disgusting things. So anyway, I've been on this TikTok rabbit hole of haunted houses. I will not be doing any haunted houses, but I wanted to tell you guys that story. That pretty much rounds out my LA trip weekend. I guess that's all I wanted to talk about in today's video. But next week, you guys, is the start of NBA season, and we already have some things cooking for NBA season and some work that I will be doing with different teams. Like, you guys know, I did the Spurs Media Day for the third year and got to interview all the players there, but there's likely some other things that I will be doing this year with the Mavericks. So I will keep you guys posted on all of that. If you like episodes like this where, I don't know, it's kind of like a personal update, then please let me know in the comments below. If there's other topics or if there's other guests that you would love to see on the show, please also let me know in the comments below. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, click that little subscribe button because we upload new videos every single week and we're also planning more live streams. So stay tuned for that. But I think that's all that I've got for you. Thanks for hanging out with me and listening to me ramble for, I don't know, like 30, 40 minutes at this point. Hope you guys have a lovely evening and I'll see you next time. Oh, Anna.